Hello YouTube, what is up, Eroktic here. I wasn't really satisfied about giving you enough information in my last video about stealth and aggro. It is a little bit more complex, and that's why I made a dedicated video just for aggro. Let's talk about aggro first. Aggro is a short term for hostile aggression towards you, and all games are using it, just on different ways. The only difference in the games is how aggro is triggered and how aggro reacts. In Wildlands, aggro reacts on their sight and sound, but their reaction is a little bit more complex than you think. Let's talk about aggro in Wildlands just in general first. In Wildlands, every aggro has his own aggro stage, but if you do not react too fast, he can transfer his aggro to another ally. The aggro that is shown on top of your minimap is showing you the highest stage that you are currently in current zone. That means, if you are suspected by 5 enemies, and there is that one guy that is hunting you, on your minimap it will be shown that you are hunted. And that's why you cannot really rely on your minimap, because you need more detailed versions to know how to react on different enemies. You can track even detailed versions about aggro. By marking enemies, they're gonna get icon above their head. And when you're paying closer attention to this icon, you can see by blinking in which stage of the aggro you are. This is how it looks when you're in idle stage. When you're in suspected mode, the icon will start to blink. When you're in hunted mode, the icon is gonna blink even faster. And when you're in engaged mode, the icon is gonna blink even faster. And there is one more way to know in which stage of aggro you are, and that is enemy body language. And this is the only source that people can rely on when they are playing without a HUD. Now let me ask you one simple question. How many stages of aggro are in a game? So there is a idle, suspected, hunted and engaged, right? Now, will your life be a little bit more easier if you know that there is one more stage? I think it will. There is one more stage, but they merged 2 stages into one. Hunted mode has 2 stages, and they done that because they wanted to simplify things, but they just made it worse, because it is a lot harder to understand in which position you currently are. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later, but let's go over all the stages real quick first. Basically, Wildlands is open world dynamic game. What dynamic means is every mob, every NPC has his own route that he's doing. Some are driving cars, some are patrolling on snipers' nests, some are carrying the stuff, someone's fixing the stuff, you know, the usual real life stuff. There is an idle stage, or normal stage, a neutral stage, where everything is normal. And in this stage there is 0 aggro. Since there is no aggro, enemy is not aware of your presence if you're standing next to him. There is a suspected mode. In this stage enemy thinks that something is wrong, that he have seen or heard something. He will try to figure out what is wrong, and he's gonna walk towards the suspected source. And if there is an ally next to him, he's gonna tell his buddy that something is wrong, and they'll both be suspecting that something is wrong, but this stage doesn't take too long. They're gonna give up in a short amount of time. In this stage enemies are relaxed but curious. There is a third stage, let's call it Hunted 1, and it is triggered only by sound. In this stage enemy knows that something is wrong, and he knows exactly from where he heard the noise, and he's gonna investigate the source, but he's gonna still be relaxed. He will alert his buddies that he heard something, and they're gonna all help him and come towards the source. And when they reach the spot, they're gonna search this area, but they're gonna give up eventually. But when you are in Hunted 1, it will take much longer than suspected to decay. When you enter in this stage, your goal is to get away from the area, or they are gonna spot you. The problem with Hunted is that your sight indicator is raising much faster than in suspected mode. And when you enter in Hunted mode, every time when enemy sees you, when you get this sight indicator on your screen, you're gonna refresh their Hunted stage, and they're gonna update their knowledge where you are, and they're gonna reposition their suspicion. So that means if you're on point A and you made a noise, they're gonna come towards you, and you need to reposition again. You need to reposition yourself as long as they don't see you anymore. When you get out of the way of a line of sight, you'll be fine, you just need to wait that this stage decay. In this stage, enemies are relaxed, but they are sure that something is wrong. There is a fourth stage, Hunted 2. It is really similar to Hunted 1, but enemies are not relaxed anymore, and they are entering in their combat stance. In this stage, they are hostile towards everyone. That means if there are rebels next to them, if there is an unit next to them, they're gonna start the fight with them. They're gonna start with their tactic maneuvers. They're gonna try to flank you, they're gonna try to stay in cover and stuff like that, you know, tactical stuff. And in Hunted stage, the alarm will go off, they're gonna call for reinforcements if there is no nearby allies, they're gonna turn on the spotlights to detect you even faster, and there is a last stage, Engaged. In this stage, enemy knows exactly where you are and they are starting with hard engage. In this stage they are rushing even harder, they are flanking even harder, they are throwing grenades, even more enemies are spawning probably behind you so they can flank you even easier, even more reinforcements are coming with the helicopters and with the cars and stuff like that. But do you remember that on the beginning of the video I was talking about how aggro is triggered? Sight and sound, right? Well, in engaged mode, they have one more way to update their knowledge on your position, and that is bullets. Your sight indicator is not shown anymore, that means you cannot rely where enemies are. You will need to figure out the route to disengage them. This event is gonna continue until you break all three segments: shooting, their and yours, until you break sound, and until you break their line of sight. If you break all three of them, for even 1 second, engaged mode is gonna be over. You're getting in Hunted stage number 2, and then it is going to go in Hunted stage 1, and then it is gonna decay. Okay, now when we learned that, can you please tell me in which aggro stage you are still playing stealth? Well, I'm gonna tell you. As long as you are getting experience for undetected kills, you are playing stealth. That means idle or normal stage, suspected and hunted, they are all stealth. As long as you're not playing engaged. When you're playing in engaged mode, you're doing loud and proud. Okay, now let's talk about noise reduction from your weapons and explosions. Whenever enemy hears your shots or he hears explosion, he knows that something is wrong, right? And he is going in Hunted. But only in Hunted 1, not Hunted 2. They're gonna investigate the source of explosion. Does that mean that you can go stealth and do explosions? Yes, exactly that. You can do stealth missions while throwing grenades, because you'll be in Hunted 1. But as long as they don't spot corpse. If they spot the corpse, you're going in Hunted 2, immediately. And this is great example between Hunted 1 and Hunted 2. If they spot the body, they're going in Hunted 2, and they're going in their battle stance. And if they hear your shots, or they hear the explosion, you're going in stage 1. They're relaxed, but they're gonna investigate because they're sure that something is wrong. There are a few more things that I wanna talk about aggro. So there are bases and outposts, right? And every base and every outpost has his own aggro box. What I mean by that, when there is a base and you're in full engaged mode and there is a convoy going next to this base, the convoy is gonna be neutral, as long as you don't interact with the convoy. If you interact with the convoy and if you exit out of this border, you're gonna be in neutral stage again. But only on the place when you are standing currently. If you enter in a zone again, on your minimap it is gonna show you in which stage of aggro you are. And there are more factions. Like there are two separate aggros, Santa Blanca and Unidad. So that means you can be engaged with Unidad and hunted stage 2 with Santa Blanca. And I'm gonna give you pro tip, your worst enemy for aggro is collision. If you see rails, if you see a fence, if you see anything, don't shoot through them, because in a lot of situations I went in engaged mode just because I was shooting the fucking fence and they spotted me. Try and go around and try to shoot them with a clear sight. Enemy's sight depends on where they are looking at. It doesn't have anything to do with their walking. If you see the enemy looking on the left side, he's looking on the left side. But if they enter inside of the vehicle, the sight angle is 360 degrees. And one more tip, when your AI is under default, when you're not commanding them to do anything, they're gonna stay passive until you enter in engaged mode. To refresh your AI, you will need to mark regroup, since enemy aggro indicator is updating all the time because of the bullet shots. As soon as you break their shooting towards you, just click regroup and your AI will stay passive. They're gonna still shoot, but eventually they're gonna stop. If you haven't seen my stealth video that I was doing before this one, go check it out because those two are kinda connected to each other. And yeah, I hope I helped you with this video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Eroktic out.